brought with me. Now these were clear glass strips, okay? They were clear strips that I painted with just a mist of pink spray paint, okay? Just a little mist. And this is a round glass bottle ring that I got from Etsy. You can search Etsy for bottle rings or glass bottle rings, and I painted this one. I don't know if you could tell, but I just misted it a little bit because I didn't want it to be opaque. Still wanted it to be a little translucent. So I just misted it with a little bit of metallic gold spray paint. Now both of these are just regular spray paint, okay? Nothing fancy about them, just regular old, whatever color you want, spray paint from the hardware store. Okay, so I'm gonna push these aside because I just got these out here because what I was thinking about doing was X, we'll cut these down to size, O, and a heart. And then I thought, wouldn't that be cute if it was I, heart, U, right? So I couldn't decide exactly. Devin, I hope you are very careful and don't let anybody spew any germs on you. But I couldn't decide, and this is already kind of a pinky bottle, but this would have been cute too, the I Heart You, and I would have just cut that off, but it's the wrong color, and I didn't want to have to spray it, so we're going to stick with X and O and a heart. So what we're going to do is paint our heart, and it'll go on the end. And so we're gonna paint our heart and put some rose gold. It's that pinky colored metallic glass. Hey, Cynthia. And we're gonna cut our X down to size, and we'll have our gold O and then a red heart. So the first thing I wanna do is my background though. This is just a white canvas. So I think I'm gonna put a little bit of, thank you for the stars, ladies. Thank you, Wendy. I'm gonna put a little bit of metallic white, which is kind of a pearly color. Hey, Sherry. And the color I'm gonna paint my heart is this folk art metallic rose. And so I am going to put a tiny bit of that in when I paint my background. Hey, Christine, on the metallic white, just to give it a little hue of metallic. So forgive me if I'm flighty because the medicine that I'm taking makes me a little crazy too. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little bit of this pearl on. Normally when I'm doing pearl, I like to use a foam brush, but I don't have one handy. I didn't think about that till just now. So I am going to just use this brush. This is a 6x12, but you can use any size canvas that would meet your needs and that would conform to the glass that you're going to use to do this with. So you could use an 8x10 and just reconfigure your words and your hearts. So I think you'll kind of be able to tell once we're done, you know, what options you would have for changing out your canvas size. But this is a 6x12. And I'm literally using it because it was already on my desk. So I'm just gonna get this covered. And then once it's completely covered, I'm gonna offload some of that excess onto my paper towel. And then I'm gonna start, thank you, Terry. I'm gonna start, thank you, Chipper, from left to right and just go across and lay out that metallic all in the same direction. That way it's not super blotchy, because metallic paint, I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you're painting metallics and you paint back and forth or in multiple directions, it always kind of looks blotchy. And that's because of the metallic qualities in that paint. So you need to lay it all out in one direction. Doesn't matter what direction. It could be left to right, right to left, up and down, whatever. And I'm gonna add a little bit of this pink. This is the metallic rose. I don't really want to put it on my canvas because I don't know exactly how much I want to use. So I'm gonna scooch this over. Put just a small dot of that really pretty metallic color. And I guess I should have done this before I laid my pink out or my pearl out, but I'm just gonna add in a little bit of that pink. I'm gonna put a little bit more pearl on here too, because I messed around too long and let it start tacking up. And then we'll lay it out again. I'm gonna get a little bit more and just spread that out. And then we'll go in one direction again and lay the metallic in one direction. There we go. Kind of like that. All right, so this is our background. I'm gonna hit it real quick with my heat gun. Excuse me, y'all. I'm gonna hit this real quick with my heat gun, and then we're gonna talk about how we're gonna create our X and our O and our heart. So let me hit this. It's metallic, so it dries really quickly. Or maybe not that quickly, hang on. Lynn, I only sell glass strips to my members because it's a very, let me turn that now, it's too hot. It's a tedious process. So we are reserving selling the glass strips inside our membership. We hope to have enough back stock to eventually sell to the general public. But, and we do have a couple of people who I'm gonna be contacting about helping us with glass strips. But I've been so sick that it has kind of gone to the back burner. But hopefully sometime in the near future, we will have that available to everybody. Just don't want to dry, y'all. It's wet right there. Hey, ladies. We'll give it another second. Let me let that cool off a sec. It still feels a little sticky there. So I'm gonna let it cool off and I'm gonna hit it one more time. And then we're gonna trace on, I'm gonna kind of place our X and our O. See how that really, the gold really pops on that pink and pearl now. It really looks nice. But we're gonna trace our little heart on. Hey, Sandra. All right, I'm gonna hit that spot one more time. I think we're good. All right, so I just took 2 glass strips out of our bin and hit them with, I got a little pearl on there now. Hit them with a little bit of pink spray paint. This is just regular pink spray paint. There's nothing special about it. But the deal is you want to mist. You don't want to like saturate the glass because it doesn't stick well on the glass if you saturate it really heavy. So you're gonna mist it, let it dry, mist it again, let it dry until it's the color you want. Okay, so this is gonna be our X. So I'm gonna cut that to size, all right? And this is a bottle ring. Yes, I will, Angela. You're on my list. This is a bottle ring, and I purchased a box of bottle rings from Etsy. There's sellers on Etsy and eBay who sell these bottle rings. And I just misted it, again, with gold metallic spray paint. No, nothing fancy, no big deal. Okay, Louisa, I usually do, police driving by, I usually do 1/2 inch strips. These are probably more of a 1/4 inch. They came in the pack from the lady who is cutting my strips for me, and they were too small, in my opinion, for what we were using them for, so I just saved them for me, okay? Do you need to be in the Shattered Circle group or can it also be your groups? It has to be the Shattered Circle group. So I'm going to cut these to size. One of them I'm going to leave whole, but obviously I need it to be more comparable to the O. So I'm going to come about a ½ inch bigger on each end, and I'm going to trim that piece off with my scoring tool. Okay, so I'm going to move this up, and I'm just going to take my scoring tool and make a little notch right on that strip, and then I can just break it right off, okay? So that will be one side of my X, and I can probably use, let me see, I want it to be a little more stand-up-ish. I can probably use one of these. Let's cut that about right there. So I'm just trying to make an X, ooh, don't do that, with my glass strips. So we're gonna make an X, and then you want your strips to be about the same size too. You don't want them to be, one to be way thicker than the other. So let's see if I did it. Let's see if we made magic. There we go. We'll adjust as needed. And these are standing up on their edges. So this is what it would look like if it was flat, sitting on its wide side. So what we are doing is setting them on their edge. So I'm gonna take a little bit of glue and I'm gonna glue that on the canvas. I'm actually gonna take, I wanna kind of figure out exactly where I want it first, because I think I'm gonna have to move it over a little. Let's scooch him over. And then I think he still needs to come over some. This is like 3/4 of an inch from the edge, and that's like a full-on inch or more. So I'm gonna try to get them lined up. And you'll wanna do this before you glue anything down. You don't wanna start gluing and then realize you need to move something over. Okay, so that's about a good placement for my heart. So I'm gonna grab a little piece of tape. Roll tight, Amy. I'm gonna grab a little piece of tape, and then I'm going to just tape my heart down. Just tape it right here. That way it doesn't move while I mess with these, okay? I'm gonna set this aside. And I have these glue pens. I went to Hobby Lobby looking for some clear tacky glue, and I couldn't find any. All they have were these little pens. So I'm just gonna use this little pen. Hopefully it still has glue in it. It does. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take the long strip. I'm just gonna put a little bead of glue right along. I think it does. Come on, glue. Let me get it down. Thank you, Karen. This might be out of glue. Give me a second to see. Let the glue come down to the end. Okay, here it comes. So we'll just add a little bit of glue to that edge so it stays upright while we work. And press it into your canvas. Now we can take this, do the same thing. Just add little tiny droplets of glue to that edge. If you add too much, it won't stand up well. I'm gonna have to stand up and look down. And let's do this side. A little bit of glue. Come on, glue. And we've made our X. You could also just do it flat, leave it flat to make your X as well if you wanted to. Try to get that situated. I don't really need to put glue on that because it'll just lay right there really nice. Plus when I resin, I'll probably pick it up, resin, set it back down, and then add a little bit of resin on the top. So let me put my little glues back, and I'm gonna store them upside down so I don't have to wait 5 minutes for the glue to come next time. Okay, I should have waited for that, but we're gonna transfer our, see, this is why I shouldn't go live when I don't feel 100%, because I should have painted my heart before I glued my X down. But that's okay too. We are going to work with that. So I'm just gonna tuck my graphite paper under here, and I'm gonna transfer my cute little heart right onto my canvas with a stylus. If you don't have a stylus, you can just use a ballpoint pen. So I didn't even trust myself to draw a heart today. Now this heart is kind of lopsided, but I am, once the paint is dry, gonna come in and add some detail with my little graphic pen. So I wanted it to be a little loopy, and then we'll add some lines around that to give it some more dimension. So there's our heart. And yes, I put the glass on its side so it stands up and sticks out. I just like it better that way. So there's our little baby heart. So I'm gonna use this same rose metallic to paint in my heart. It may take more than one coat. We'll see how well it does. I have to have a sip of something before I start coughing. There you go. Debbie, I don't really feel as bad as I sound. I think I sound worse than I feel because I've just been coughing. I can't get rid of the cough that I have. And so it makes me hoarse, and it, you know, it makes my ribs hurt. It makes my throat hurt, makes my head hurt. I've just coughed myself into a headache. And, you know, I don't sleep as good because thank goodness that I have one of those beds that you can elevate the head. And we sleep with the head of the bed elevated, probably like sitting in a recliner, because it's the only way I can sleep without coughing myself into a frenzy. So I'm gonna trace really carefully around because I don't want that line to show. But I'm also a little wiggly. And my nose is running too. Oh my gosh. I'm supposed to be going out of town to a mastermind the end of this month to California. So I'm praying that before I have to fly, I can get rid of this cough, because you know how people are. Even though I can tell them I'm not sick really, not anymore. I just have a cough. They just look at you like you're infecting everybody with the COVID. And I'm not. I tested several times and I never tested positive for COVID. It was just sinus infection and bronchitis. So I can't talk while I do this. I'll mess up. Oh, had to hold my breath. I'm gonna hit this with my dryer just for a second because it does need more than one coat. And I'll put a second coat, and then I think I'll add a little pearl blip in there. And Stephen Gray, will you bring, hello? He's not listening. It does help. I'm gonna hit this with my heat just to dry it real quick, and then I'm gonna add another coat. I think if I throw something at him, he has his ear things. And Tracy, somebody else said that too. And I already said that if I didn't feel good by the end of this week, that I was gonna go back and have them like do a chest x-ray or something. So I'll do that if I go back to the doctor. I was hoping I would be, you know, better by now. Y'all forgive me for this, but my nose is dripping. Oh, I didn't want to have a drippy nose. Okay, so I'm going to hit this one more time. Make sure that's cooled off a little. Oh, that's way better. Sometimes these metallics take more than one coat because they just aren't as opaque as some of the regular colors. So this is going to work nicely. And notice I went with the pink instead of red because I figure we'll be doing a couple of different Valentine things over the next week or two. And so I wanted to go pink instead of red for the first one. Plus I wanted to use the rose gold. It's one of my favorite colors. All right, now I think I'm gonna get just a teeny bit of pearl. And I'm gonna wet this again on this side. I'm gonna offload the excess off of my brush. I'm gonna grab up just a little bit of this pearl. I'm just gonna give myself a little swoop and a little swoop, just like that. Voila, tiny little nothing swoops right into your paint. Okay, now I'm gonna dry this again and I'm gonna make some lines with my graphic pen, if I can find it. There it is right there. So let me dry this really quick so I don't, oh I do, Emma. I hope it clears up quickly because, ugh, it's driving me crazy. I just go into a coughing frenzy. Once I start coughing, it's hard to stop. Honestly, I feel pretty good physically. I don't feel sick anymore. I just can't get rid of this cough. You know, when you cough like that, it makes you tired and you're not sleeping. Right, that I think is dry. I'm gonna let that cool off. And then I'm gonna use my little black graphic marker to kind of outline the edges of this. And I'm gonna bring some lines out around, I don't know if you can see on, let me pull this up. I taped it to my table. On my little tracer, how I kind of made the lines a little inside, outside. Hang on. Can you see that? See how I made that little line come up high, this one low? So I'm gonna kind of try to add a little interest to that heart so it's not just a plain old nothing. So, thank you guys for letting people know we're here and we're live. I haven't been live in a couple of weeks because I've been so sick. And so I'm excited to be here and I appreciate you guys letting people know that we're here. Pat, this is a 6x12 canvas. So I'm gonna take my little pen. This is a graphic marker. It is archive quality, so the resin won't make it run. And this is a 0.5. It's my favorite size, Gary. My favorite size. Knock your cough out. Good, I'll try that, Connie. I'm willing to try anything at this point. Okay, so I'm gonna come here. And I'm just gonna start making a few lines. I'm gonna start just right where my heart is. I got a little bit of a glare, so I need to wiggle around a little. And then I'm gonna come up and around just in a couple of spaces outside. We'll do a dot, dot, dot outside the edges of the heart. So it kind of gives it a little more 3D look. Thank you for the stars, guys. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Deanna. Yes, do not use a Sharpie. It will run all day long. If you're gonna use something that is not tried and true, I would suggest that you spray it after you use it, let it dry, spray your canvas, spray your lettering with a non-yellowing spray clear coat sealer and before you resin, because a Sharpie will run every single time. Okay, so here is our XO and our heart. So super cute, but we're gonna add a little bit of rose gold glass. Now the rose gold is super pretty. It is kind of a pinky color, translucent pink, but on one side it has a gold lamination. So it's kind of got a gold reflective quality to it. So it's gonna look super cool on our heart. And I'm not gonna cover my entire heart. I'm just gonna add a few pieces. I don't want that one, that one's ugly. Look, that one's kind of pretty. I don't really wanna cover up my swoop. So let me see if I can get a few smaller little pieces. Let's see, I hate picking through, but sometimes you gotta. Just a few little pieces here. And I think I'll just fill in the bottom a little bit with a piece or two. Or if I have a skinny one, I can come up the edge right here. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Might take that one away. Yep. Let's see. What do I got here? I think I'm good. Let's put a little smaller nugget right there. All right, so just put the glass where you want. Thank you, Becky. You could totally use a mason jar ring. You could use almost anything circular for your O. Absolutely. Just think outside the box. Thank you, Sherry. Think outside the box for anything round. You could use go to the Hobby Lobby jewelry department and they have the little round, like a bangle. You could totally use just a round bangle for your O. So think outside the box for that. It doesn't have to be a glass ring. It could totally be any little round thing that would work with the resin. So let's go ahead and mix up some resin. So I'm gonna push this up a little. I'm gonna get my gloves on. And I think I'm just gonna mix up about, I don't think I'm gonna need much. I'm gonna mix up about 3/4 of an ounce. That's probably too much. But at this stage in the game, I'd rather have a little too much than not enough. So let's get our 2 little cups. And I'm gonna have a sip real quick so I don't start coughing again. And let me mark my cup and I'll let y'all know exactly how much it took. This is a 6 by 12. I love my glass table, Sandra. I actually did a bunch of those crosses we did at Christmas time. Thank you, Catherine. On this table, and I was able to use a flat razor blade and just pop all the paint and resin right up off of this. And this is like a wood door underneath, and I thought how fun it would be just to slide. Like I could have, if I had thought about it in advance, I could have slid a piece of paper up under the glass that said what size my canvas was. So I think it's gonna come in really handy for that kind of thing in our lives. Okay, so I think I'm actually gonna mix a 1/2 ounce. So let's just hold our breath and cross our fingers. Cross your fingers and toes, because I think that's gonna be plenty. So we're gonna do a 1/4 ounce of resin and a 1/4 ounce of hardener. And if it's not enough, that'll be my bad. Yay, Rebecca, that's awesome. I'm so happy. So I'm going to scooch this up just a little. And you know what else I love about this glass table is the table that I was using before was one of those folding tables. And it started getting worse and worse where it wasn't level. And this is perfectly level and I love it. Thank you, Phyllis. That tree of life is going in my house. I know I say that sometimes about things and then I end up selling them. But that tree of life, I think, is like one of my all-time favorites. So I don't really think I want to sell it. I think I want to keep it. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys this too. I don't know why that's doing that. It's like the wind is blowing, so that last little string of resin, I don't know if you could see it, but it was like swinging all over the place in my cup. So here's what we're going to do. This piece we're going to gift to someone who likes and shares this page to their friends and family. I shouldn't have said the S word, but it's too late now. It's out there. So if you liked and sprinkled this video, comment that you liked and sprinkled, and we will come back tomorrow or the next day, probably Friday. And I will give this away. I will gift this to someone who loved us enough to sprinkle and let their friends know we are here hanging out, having fun without them. So make sure that you do that. Make sure you tell your friends we're here. They don't want to miss out on the fun either. And make sure you tell me that you did so that your name can go in the little hat for a possibility to win this cute little sign. And I don't have a stir stick. Where are my stir sticks? Stir stick. I need a baby one. This one's a little big, but I think we'll just use it. So I'm going to pull this back towards me. I'm going to risk my life. Put this right there, right in the middle. And I'm going to dump one into the other. So the goal is at this point, because we're not going to be a retail store anymore, we're just going, when we move to our new space, we are going to be a classroom space. I'm trading my retail space for a classroom space. So what we're going to be doing, and when we have our lives, so you guys stay tuned. If when we do small pieces like this for our lives, we will be gifting them every week. So make sure you follow the page. I'm sorry, Catherine, I'm started already. I'm just a few seconds in though, so just let me know. So make sure that you follow us and let us know when you have done the sprinkling thing, and you could win a cute little art piece that we did. I don't like to say win. We're going to gift them. You're not going to win. You're going to be gifted a lovely art piece. So we're going to give those away every week. So I'm stirring this, I'm scraping the sides of the cup, and I'm scraping the bottom of the cup to mix up my resin really well. The stick's a little big for this, but we're gonna work with it. You need a baby, like a coffee stirrer stick. You can just share it to your page, Sarah, and let them know what you like about our page or something like that. You know, just let them know you're watching and invite them to watch too. Doesn't have to tag anybody in particular. Just spread the love. So keep a stirring, keep a stirring. I'm gonna go ahead while I'm thinking about it and move that off. Catherine is, if you guys who don't know what sprinkle the love means, Catherine is gonna tell y'all. So watch for Catherine's comment and she's gonna tell you what that means and how to sprinkle the love. Kim, I will post a pic of the Tree of Life tomorrow. I've mixed up a ½ ounce of resin for this. Thank you, Debbie. I'm sure we'll use it all, but I'll let you know for sure. Oh, Connie, that's awesome. Thank you, Catherine. I figured it was time, and I just wasn't seeing it fast enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to get this off this stick so I can use it again next time. And I'm going to grab one of my silicone. I've missed you guys, too. No, a ½ ounce total, Jill, so it's going to be a ¼ ounce, of each. So first thing I'm going to do is just dip my little silicone into my resin, and I'm going to put that on my glass. I'm going to make sure I get that end of the glass really well. So we'll run it along the edge so it runs down the side. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to drizzle it over that rose gold glass. Make sure that's stuck down really nicely. Y'all, I went over to my new studio today after we took all our orders to the post office. We went over to look at it, and I think they're gonna start drywalling the front classroom and office space this week. I'm so excited. It's like a dream come true. I'm so excited about it. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here and micromanage this just for a second. Just wanna make sure that I have resin on these little glass pieces that are on their sides. So I'm going to bring that up. And I'll pull the excess out to my edge. Now, I'm going to just take some of this and just drizzle it right in the middle where my O is going to go. And then I'm going to grab that O back up and I'm going to place it right where it needs to be. That's perfect. Let's scoot it over just a little. And now I'll take some of the resin and I'm going to drizzle it right around the edge of that glass. So it runs down both sides and adheres to the canvas really nicely on the bottom, and it's covered on the sides as well. Kind of just ensures that it's stuck down really good. So we'll do that around the middle. Now I can take the rest and I'm just going to drizzle it around. And it's going to take this entire ½ ounce. So that's a ¼ ounce of resin and a ¼ ounce of hardener for the entire piece. That's a total ½ ounce. That is nothingness. That's such a small amount for such a cute little art piece. We're gonna scrape every little tidbit out. Let's move it around, get it to the edge. I think I about got it. Let me scrape out anything that's left. So ½ ounce was perfect. trying to look at it from all angles to make sure I got all the way to my edge. I don't see any skippies. I'm gonna hit that center one more time. Just wanna make sure it's got resin everywhere it needs to have it. Now lay that there, and I'm just gonna go around with my finger. This is a new habit I have that I don't know why it makes me feel better. And real quick, I'm gonna hit it with my heat gun just to pop any bubbles that we may have created while mixing the resin. Just remember to keep that heat moving. You don't wanna focus in on one spot and just burn that resin, because it will turn yellow if you get it too hot in one spot. I feel like there is a piece of fuzz right here. Okay. So I'm just gonna hit this with my heat gun for 1 second. And this is just a cute little art piece you could give to your daughter, to your mom, to your aunt, to a loved one. Just super simple and cute. Look at that. And you could do this literally, guys, on any size canvas. This is a 6x12, but you could do it on an 8x10. You could do it up and down like this instead of this way. You do not have to use this size canvas. You just need to adjust your pieces to match whatever size canvas you have. Is that not adorable? Look at that cute little heart. Cute little heart with literally 2 paint colors, pearl and rose metallic. Cuteness overload.